Hey, good morning once again. Welcome to another edition of Exiles TV. Bill Perfita over there. I'm Kevin Gallagher, and we're so glad to have you with us today.
We are. We are very glad indeed. So, lots going on in the news.
Yes, and we're going to have some legal expertise here to talk about some legal things going on in the news. The George Floyd case and the Derek Chauvin conviction. We've also got the. Bill and I discussed this before the show. It seems like it's a problem that simply will not go away. And that is the sexual harassment of people in the workplace by people of influence, bosses, appointees.
And in governmental positions.
Especially in governmental positions. It's like, what is it when you've been given a job with a little bit of power, a little bit of clout, maybe the governor himself put you in that position, and you feel that gives you license to play grab ass with the female employees or the male employees and threaten them with their jobs if they won't feed the bear.
Well, you know, a lot of them are a little more subtle than that, but it still goes on. And the problem that I have is if this is happening at, let's see, I don't want to have a real corporation. If this is happening at Pear Corporation or at Musla, okay? And they hire somebody as an executive, and they're making their money through the private sales from these organizations, and they get complaints, and their HR department either acts on them or doesn't act on them. That's a whole different issue. You would hope that they would. But when these people are in positions where they are handpicked by a much higher elected official, such as the governor or the attorney general, and they start, as we used to love to say, acting the fool, and the person who put them there doesn't take immediate remedial action, in fact, might take action against those who made the complaints against them, then we have a whole different set of problems. And you know what that computes to in my feeble little mind? These people think they have license.
Yeah, they think somehow that their position gives them the right to behave this way.
They are double knot predators. Much like 007 has a license to kill, 00 whatever they might be, feels that they have a license to proposition, leer, make open statements, comment on all the things that you and I and Katie and Franz and Clarence know that you damn well shouldn't do. Why? Well, the governor put me in this position. The attorney general put me in this position. You can't touch me. And we find it compounded.
But I can touch you.
Yeah. And we find it compounded by some of these elected officials coming down on the whistleblower rather than on their chief appointee or top executive.
Now, last week there was news of a top-ranking person in the State Department of Justice, the Attorney General's office, accused of sexual harassment in the workplace. This week, just yesterday, from the Baton Rouge Advocate, allegations made against Louisiana Housing Corporation Executive Director Keith Cunningham, who's now on administrative leave with pay. See, I have a problem with that. Let me just stop right there, with pay. To me, if this is a serious charge, and I don't know if you should collect a paycheck while we're waiting for people to sort it out. If you're found not guilty, if you're exonerated, they can pay you your back pay. But in the meantime, I don't think the taxpayers should be paying. And good Lord, if you knew what kind of money some of these people make. But
the housing authority, $260K.
Exactly.
Cha-ching!
Some of these people that are appointees that the general tax-paying public of Louisiana doesn't even know who the hell they are, make more money than the governor, for God's sakes.
We are going to talk about this, and again, what I want to know is when these men, and they are all men,
Of course they're men.
And by the way, well, I mean, women,
I think women sometimes do it, but I think
women can sexually harass
most of the time this doggery is men.
And in the case of the housing authority, this is number 2. The first one was appointed by Bobby Jimel.
I was going to bring that up.
But what are they told? You can do any damn thing you want here because you were appointed by the governor? Or is the governor, or in this case 2 governors, are they finding people with these attitudes? Because maybe they're political supporters, maybe they're activists. This is a great big case of what the hell? And what the hell do you do about it?
The buddy system is alive and well.
Well,
And it's if you're a heavy political donor or you lead a group that makes heavy political donations, you can wind up with these kinds of plum positions. And I don't know where they get in their head.
If your administration is getting heat because you don't have a number of people that look like a certain other number of people in high positions.
I didn't even want to go there.
Well, but you know what? It's not a coincidence. All of these people we're speaking about round out an executive staff that, with the exception of them, is prevailingly Caucasian.
Yeah.
Time for us to take a break. We'll be back in a moment on Exiles TV.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Desire in your eyes, but you can't keep it in your heart. 'Cause misery loves company. 'Cause misery loves company. Cold and hungry like a dog in the street. I get a raw deal every.
We're back, Exiles TV. The subject is high-ranking political appointees in positions of power. They're sometimes in command of large groups of people, and taking advantage of that to sexually harass their employees. The most recent, the Louisiana Housing Corporation Executive Director Keith Cunningham, who allegedly, according to a March 24th letter sent to the Housing Agency's Executive Council, outlines allegations against Cunningham. He's accused of unwelcomed and unabated sexual harassment of an assistant at the Housing Corporation from January 2017 through the current year.
Now, here's what her letter actually says. It says that Cunningham propositioned her for sex on a monthly basis, attempted to touch her breasts, commented on her body in a sexually charged manner, and threatened her because she wouldn't have sex with him. It's a quote. Mr. Cunningham's sexual harassment has been open, obvious, and pervasive in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
She said she faced financial retaliation from Cunningham because she refused his advances, and she reported the harassment to other people at the Housing Corporation who did nothing in response. Now then, this is an agency that was created in 2011, so it's recent, okay?
Right?
And the first executive director, who was appointed by Governor Jindal,
Frederick Tom Barr III.
Tom Ball, I think.
Tom Barr.
Tom Barr?
B-A-R.
Yeah. He was run out because of sexual
Harassment claims.
This guy, Keith Cunningham, was appointed by John Bell. And apparently, he is now under the same cloud. Now, let me ask you this. If you are the person who makes these appointments, and you see this in print, and you see an allegation, and that's what it is right now, but it's very specific, and it's very graphic, and part of that allegation is that nobody there did a damn thing about it.
From 2017 to 2021. Now, some people say, well, if she was being sexually harassed in the workplace, why didn't she just quit her job? Well, some of these state jobs pay pretty damned well, even for rank and files.
And you get the good benefits.
And you get great benefits, and you get a state retirement. And so I can see why a woman might not be motivated to quit a job simply because she's being sexually harassed.
Let's look at it this way. Why the hell should she have
Why
to quit her job?
should she have to quit because the boss is pressuring her for sex?
Why the hell should she have to quit? But I ask you, if you're the person who makes the appointment, you got to hear about this stuff. Do you not pick up the phone and say, pack your blank and get out until we sort this out? Do you understand me? I brought you in, I can take you out. Or do you just sit there and hope it all goes away?
Well, we're going to suspend you with pay, of course, with pay. And we'll see what happens.
And let me tell you what. People do not get appointed to this job because of their impressive resume from another state.
By the way,
they
Bill,
get appointed because they're part of a big political group that that supports the governor.
let's not forget that the first, I can't remember what his title was, but Johnny Anderson was a high-ranking member of Governor Edwards' staff.
He was like a chief of staff.
During the first term.
Yeah.
And he's out. What for? Sexual harassment in the workplace.
Well, and again, I don't know if this is the case, but all three of the cases that are in the news right now, with the exception of, what is it, Tom Barr, who is gone.
Who's gone.
But Cunningham and Patrick McGee over at the AG's office, who left under a cloud, but the allegations are still there. How many of these, because you know they do it, how many of these were put into these lovely positions because the head of the agency says, people in the electorate are going to ask if I don't have a blank executive, if I don't have the agency headed by a blank, if I don't, I mean, Joe Biden, I'm going to have a female as a vice president. You know, how many people say, you know,
I don't mind a female as vice president. Can we get a good one?
Governor, senator, well, I mean, the overarching thing is governor, senator, you know, are you going to have a black chief of staff? Are you going to have a Latino chief of staff? United Airlines, how many black pilots do you have? You can't tell me it's coincidence that all three of these high-ranking males that were appointed by the statewide elected official, that it's a coincidence that they all happen to be African American.
Okay, you're treading on dangerous ground now, though, Bill. I mean, I know it is what it is.
What am I saying? It's not factual. Are they not African American?
No, but
were they not appointed by the number one?
I'm telling you, somebody watching this program right now is saying he don't like black people.
Well, then they're full of crap. They're full of crap. They are absolutely full of fetid, running, diarrhea-like material.
I look at this as, I didn't want to bring up race at all, but it is what it is. I mean, to me, it doesn't matter.
Did someone Photoshop these pictures of them to make them look like they're African American?
It doesn't matter what they look like. It's the behavior that needs to be
But what
condemned.
I'm saying is, when you are put into a position, and I've seen this happen, and you're lying if you tell me you haven't, where you're put into a big, big spot because of what you represent, that you don't get a little untouchability? Come on. This is me you're talking to.
Well, and we're in the real world here, so yes.
Yeah, we're in the damn real world where somebody who has a high position is under pressure to have people that fill out boxes on forms, and everybody who fits that particular box, now they can all shut up and get back in the truck because I made the $260,000 a year appointment to one of you.
Yeah.
Tell me that doesn't give you some invulnerability. Tell me that doesn't give you a feeling of license. Tell me that and I will call you a damn liar.
That's a lot of money for a man to find himself making. And it's like, yeah, but you know what? With that kind of income, if you're just looking to get you some, go to the Cadillac Cafe on Saturday night and get you some.
But this is also about power, Kevin.
Yeah, it's also about wielding that power. Wielding that power.
We'll come back with somebody who knows a little something about power. Attorney Franz Borghardt joins us in just a moment. Mr. Power, stick around.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
The selection is deep, and the time to get a used car is right now from the Team Automotive Group. Shop and save on over 125 certified vehicles and choose from more than 700 pre-owned vehicles at any of our team locations. Or log on anytime at teamautouse.com.
Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us in the center chair there. I hope that's decaf because you're going to need it. Yeah. Franz Borghardt, attorney at law. Franz practices criminal defense law, but he also practices some civil rights law and has been a prosecutor. And we got a lot in the news. If you don't mind, let's dispose of this one a little more quickly.
Okay.
What is next with Derek Chauvin and that case?
I believe he has sentencing scheduled in 2 months. If you listen to different commentators, he's looking at likely a 40-year sentence. If they run the time concurrent, which I think they have to under Minnesota law, he, of course, will be able to appeal the conviction, and that will exhaust itself. So I think in the proverbial monopoly world, he will not be passing go. He will not be collecting $200. He'll be going right to jail.
Go straight to jail.
It seemed to me that his attorney was setting the table for an ineffective counsel appeal after their medical expert really did not perform?
So I've said to you guys before, it's easy to armchair quarterback a defense when I don't have to try the case. I don't know whether or not he intentionally did that or not, but there are some appealable issues in this case. You have the judge on record making a comment about a possible appealable issue. So ineffective assistance would certainly be an issue that an appellate court can consider. Whether or not that rises to the level of giving him a new trial or not, there was pretty overwhelming evidence. We have a video. We have more than 9.5 minutes of video. So I don't know if it's going to be enough to get this guy a new trial. And the question ultimately is did he get a fair shake?
Well, you don't have to appeal on the basis of the evidence, though. You can appeal on procedural errors.
Yes. But the question becomes was the procedural error such that it would have affected the outcome? And if a court says, this is harmless error, that's the magical phrase. If this is harmless error, then it may not be enough to give you a new shake at the.
So are you saying there's a chance an appellate court might say, not so much, no thanks?
Absolutely. Very few cases get overturned in that nature. And look, that was probably why the trial judge, got so upset with the good representative from California for making her incendiary comments, was because at the end of the day, he didn't want to try this case again. Nobody wants to try a case a second or a third time.
What do you think this case cost the taxpayers of Hennepin County?
Millions.
Yeah, I was thinking
Millions.
probably 4 or 5 mil.
Yeah, that would not be far-fetched for me.
Yeah.
And that's in direct cost. Let's not forget the cost that the story itself and the public's reaction to the death of George Floyd has cost the county, in damage, property damage, people killed, people injured. It's horrible. In your opinion, was there any miscarriage of justice in this case?
I don't think we saw anything that was a quote unquote miscarriage. I think a good defense attorney might have considered putting his client on the stand if his client was okay with that. But if you do that, and by the way, in the playbook, normally you don't put your client on the stand. But this is an unusual case, and candidly, if you're going to do that, your client needs to be likable, lovable, and show, in this instance, some genuine remorse over what happened. Not remorse over his actions, but remorse in so much as there was a death. He didn't testify. I think there was an expectation. I think there was a belief that he was going to testify. He didn't testify, though, and we don't know the behind the scenes on why he didn't do that. But
if I would have put him up there, if only for 5 minutes, for him to express some remorse at the death of George Floyd.
Yes.
I didn't want the man to die. I'm sorry he's dead.
So, yeah. And I mean, and look, you had a parade of police officers that testified as to this conduct was not appropriate. He needed to be able to have some kind of response to that from his own mouth. Yes, the expert for the defense I'll use the phrase, was underwhelming.
Yeah.
Underwhelming.
Let's move on now. Again, this is going to become a controversy, I think, that is going to move down the road. I don't know if you saw this, because I just saw this. The Attorney General has said that he's open to the possibility of rehiring Assistant Attorney General Pat McGee. Pat McGee is the head of the criminal division at the AG's office that left under a cloud of sexual harassment.
Are you joking me?
I'm not joking. The story broke just as we were sitting down.
So in preparation for this conversation, I put 2 scoops of Metamucil in this coffee.
I don't think you're going to need them.
So this is at the heels of the general of the state of Louisiana, Attorney General Jeff Landry, basically attacking the whistleblower, which we have, by the way, we have laws specifically to protecting
the
whistleblowers.
And that gentleman,
Matt Durbus.
Matt Durbus has resigned.
I know Matt Durbus personally. I have had cases against him. He is a very good prosecutor. No human being is perfect, but I mean, this is an example of all the wrong things, right? So you're the head of your criminal division, who there is evidence to support did some inappropriate things.
May well be committing crimes.
May well be. In fact, the Attorney General took action on it, right?
Right.
He resigns, and so now he's considering letting him come back. What? Like,
why on earth? I mean, speculate.
This
Why?
is like that scene from Animal House when he goes, "Did we take liberties that we shouldn't have taken?"
We
With
did.
our female guest.
Yeah, I genuinely look. Not to be hyperbolic, because you guys know I'm not the biggest of fans of our Attorney General.
Well, I'm gonna trust you to be fair and
So
impartial.
I believe this is strictly, this is in line with someone who sues someone from the media for doing a public records request. I think he genuinely is just doing whatever he wants to do. And candidly, guys, I don't see the justification. The optics alone are horrible. The guy resigns, and you're going to hire him back?
Here's the quote from Attorney General Landry, and the quote can stand on its own. "Like all of us, we hope when we make mistakes we're able to rectify them," Landry said when asked if he would ever consider McGee for another job. "And so, whether I would hire him again or not, I guess it would be a question of his ability to be able to rectify whatever he did." Now, when he was suspended by a general,
Well,
by
at least
General
he
Landry,
qualified the statement somewhat.
well, when he was suspended by General Landry, part of the suspension letter said your management style includes outbursts, the use of profanity, and frequent reference to fire employees. Notice that the suspension letter doesn't say anything about sexual harassment.
So, if we were to view this from the lens of, and this guy was an administrator, but let's say you had an exceptionally good trial attorney who was in an administrative position, which happens, right?
Yeah.
And you said, we're not going to put this guy back in an administrative position, but we may consider having him try cases. Well, that would be one thing. And I could at least wrap my brain around that. I'm confused. I'm confused. You've now committed an onslaught and an assault on your whistleblower. You've sued the media for doing a public records request. I literally feel like this Attorney General is just urinating on his oath of office.
All right, let me ask you a couple key questions about
Sure.
the points.
Interesting choice of words.
Yeah, about the points you just made. A, was the public records request legitimate, and does the Attorney General's office have any kind of constitutional immunity from public records requests?
So legitimacy is a tricky word. There was nothing illegal or inappropriate about the request. If it's over cumbersome, or if they feel like you're not entitled to it, the proper procedure is to simply tell the media you're not entitled to it. Okay? Then the media can file suit on the Attorney General's office to get it. That would have been the proper mechanisms. And by the way, if the media would have sensationalized the Attorney General's office for saying we don't think you're entitled to it, they would have been inappropriate. That's the proper procedure. The Attorney General could have filed a injunctive relief request, filing an injunction or some kind of protective order saying this is not disclosable or this is not subject to the public records request. He sued a reporter.
Now, second question. We got a minute to break, so we can take it up on the other
Sure.
side of the break. If someone in another agency is a whistleblower that is protected by the whistleblower statute we have, isn't the Attorney General bound by law to protect them?
Well, I think in the instance of it being an employee of the Attorney General, you'd have an exception. Now Durbus has hired Jill Kraft, who is no slouch.
No.
She's a brilliant
yes,
attorney.
Yes. So I think the state of Louisiana is about to get sued and will be paying for General Landry once again and his decision-making or poor lapses of decision-making. It does not, by the way, as an attorney, as an officer of the court, I hope for better. I expect better. And when we sue media people for doing public records requests, it is a trampling on the First Amendment. I mean, you guys are in media. You know, again, to simply say, you're not entitled to it. We don't think you're entitled to it, and let's go litigate this. That's one way of handling it. And by the way, That is a ethical way of handling it, and that is a professional way of handling it.
I've not read the suit. What are his grounds to file suit against the media?
That it was overly cumbersome to excise out the information, and essentially, by the way, the excised out information was only a few lines.
But isn't that a reasonable reason to deny as opposed to filing a lawsuit?
So I don't know that that's a reasonable reason to deny under public records law, but it is reasonable if you are truly trying to protect the victim. It is reasonable to file a protective order. But if you're really trying to protect the victims in your office and send a message that it's okay to come forward, would you ever considering hiring back the gentleman who is accused of the sexual harassment?
Twice.
Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
Well, we do live in Louisiana.
It's a crazy place.
A brief
It's a crazy place.
We will continue on Exiles TV with attorney Franz Borghardt in just a moment. Stick around.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
The first big sale of the year is here. The Dream Garage Spring Event is underway at Team Honda. For the first time ever, get $12.50 customer cash on every new 21 Passport, or get 0% for 60 months on every new 21 Pilot at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Kevin Gallagher.
Hi.
I'm Bill Pepita, Franz
He
Borghardt.
He is.
We were talking about a plethora of difficult legal cases that face us all right now.
Well, also, I don't want to say it's like an epidemic, but it seems like suddenly everybody in any position of authority in this state is sexually harassing their team.
Considering rehiring people that have sexually harassed members of their team.
I mean, look, we got the sports program at LSU. We've got the medical program at LSU Shreveport. We've got the Attorney General's office. We got the Housing Authority.
Louisiana Housing Authority, yeah.
I mean, it seems like we've got literally a large handful of cases to deal with right now. And is this it's all males accused? Is this a male problem? Is this a flaw in the human male?
So permission to sound like a criminal defense attorney.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. So we're laboring under the protective assumption that these are truthful allegations.
Right.
And
I tend to believe the accuser. It takes guts to come forward.
Right. So in a non-criminal forum, what's your standard of your burden of proof? You're guilty until proven innocent. In where I practice law, in my criminal justice system, it's the opposite of that. You're presumed innocent. And most of the time, people think, well, this person got arrested. Somebody thinks they did something wrong at some point. So I think we're going to see more of this. The problem is with latent reporting is, what is your evidence? Now, if you have emails, text messages, whistleblowers that see things, well, then that's great evidence.
But often this is he said, she said.
Right.
Well, the problem is, however, there's another problem. Is in the cases that we are dealing with right now, the people that are being accused by people who are willing to go on the record are the great and all-powerful Oz. That's the problem. You've got the head of the Louisiana Housing Authority, the second one.
But
he is Oz as far as that's concerned.
But he serves
you've
at the pleasure of who?
The governor. But you've got the head of the criminal division and a close personal friend of the Attorney General's office. One of them is Oz, okay? You've got Les Miles at LSU, is Oz. Was Oz. This is the biggest part of the problem, is that sometimes it takes a while. Let me tell you what. All of these people were not sexually harassing someone who was close to being their equal. Oh, no. They were harassing somebody way, way down the food chain that person knew good and damn well that they had a lot of power and dominion over them during their working life.
So the tragedy of this is not only that it happened, but that guess who's going to pay for it now? The state of Louisiana. Mm-hmm. We're going to pay for it. With the exception of
I'd rather pay for that than sensitivity programs.
With the exception of Les Miles, who gets paid to resign, which is wonderful, right? Mm-hmm. And when he gets sued, he'll be sued under the color of the LSU insurance policy, which means that to some degree he won't be financially out of pocket.
Right.
If Matt Durbus sues the AG's office in the state of Louisiana, you're going to pay. You're going to pay for the defense. Even if he gets zeroed out, you're going to pay. You're going to pay. I'm going to pay. If someone sues this department head, you're going to pay. You're going to pay. I'm going to pay. Even if they get zeroed out. So some of it is preventable. And again, I'm not just bashing the AG's office because I like to do that, and I do enjoy doing that. More so Jeff Landry. I'm not just bashing them because I like doing it. I'm doing it because it's preventable. Why would you put the fox back in the hen house, having had the fox remove himself, and in the same breath say, I really care about victims?
Well, here is what I struggle with mightily, okay? On the cases that we are talking about at the Housing Authority in the AG's office, Title IX, you can't swing a dead cat without finding somebody at LSU who's got some culpability there. So just for brevity, I'm going to keep that aside. But let's not forget, the people who put these people in these positions didn't say, you step one toe out of line and I even think I hear about it, your ass is gone. Instead, they're saying, I am so glad to have you. I'm so glad that we can show I have got a minority department head. I've got a minority CEO. They walk in with a 00 license, in my opinion.
So there should be some kind of consideration of what kind of vetting did you do during the hiring. The defense will be obviously that I can't predict the behavior of some of these people.
And there's some things vetting just isn't going to turn up.
Nobody, if you interview Clarence Buggs for a job, Clarence is not going to say, I have a strong proclivity to do X, Y, and Z against the women of the office. Not that Clarence Buggs would ever do that. But my point is that's not something that generally comes out in a job interview.
That is not the Mr.
And if it were to come out during a job interview, then you're probably not going to get that far anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, here's the whole thing.
By the way, for the record, Clarence Buggs does not have those proclivities.
I have never met a nicer person in my life than Clarence Buggs. I will tell you that quite honestly. But here's the deal. Well, I mean, let's just strip away all of this and let's say what it is. Landry freely admits that he and Patrick McGee were friends from their days at Southern University Law School.
They're buddies.
As far as his profile, there is nothing that qualifies him to be the head of the criminal division of the State Department of Justice. All of his legal postings have been in government work. DOTD, Southern University, things like that. So please, don't tell me this guy was appointed to be section chief because he is such a great damn criminal lawyer.
So if the argument is he has administrative, and look, I'm not one to defend, but if he has administrative experience, then I could see it. There was a part of me when he resigned that thought, the Attorney General has an opportunity here. He could hire a strong leader, possibly a female leader. And I thought, what a great opportunity. And now we're talking about him possibly down the road rehiring
his crony.
But what I'm trying to get people to wrap their heads around is this kind of crap doesn't happen in real life when you're not using taxpayer dollars. Our Lady of the Lake, the largest medical center in the entire state of Louisiana,
my home away
is
from home,
not going to hire a podiatrist to be chief of cardiology.
So,
it's not going to happen.
So to some degree it's defensible though. We had a head of a foundation, Our Lady of the Lake, right?
That's right.
Who committed and pled guilty to major federal white-collar
theft and money laundering.
And by the way, for the record, a beloved human being. People, I have never seen the outpouring of support at a federal sentencing before.
Yeah.
Who would have predicted that? How many people were shocked and surprised?
I was shocked. I was shocked beyond belief.
To some degree, when we hire somebody, to some degree, when we appoint someone, when we put someone in a leadership position, there may be good reasons for it.
But see, here's the difference.
See, that's the thing. We talked about vetting. You can vet your brains out,
Right.
but you're not going to turn up the demons. Sometimes you're not going to turn up the demons that people have.
I quite frankly don't know what happened there. But to my point is that this was strictly a political buddy appointment for a certain look as opposed to experience.
Wasn't the right man for the job necessarily.
Yeah. John Paul Funes had about 5 years of hospital foundation experience, and about 10 years before that of hospital administration, and he walked in the door with donations in 7 figures saying, this is what I can do. And the head of the foundation is supposed to bring money in. So he was eminently qualified to do that job. Now, he went off the rails, no doubt about that. But what I am talking about is this is the state of Louisiana Department of Justice. This isn't the DA for the town of Greensburg. And you're going to hire somebody who has done nothing but schlep around in appointed government jobs to be the chief of your criminal division? I may be short, but I'm not stupid.
So what is the criteria for getting appointed to all these government positions? Nepotism? Knowing somebody?
Known him for years.
Knowing somebody, and also these days fitting a box on a form. Sorry, it's the truth.
Supported his campaign, fit the right description.
Yeah.
I mean,
I will say again.
I
will say again, if the State Department of Justice wants to rectify what's going on in the office with regard to the sexual harassment climate, and by the way, there are some fine men and women in that department that are great prosecutors, that do the job. When I think of good prosecutors, I can name several excellent prosecutors from that office. Matt Durbus was one of them.
And he's gone.
He's gone.
No, but I mean, there is a simple analogous path here that I would like people to consider. My dear friend, my on-air partner, it's no secret, is undergoing cancer treatment right now at Mary Bird Perkins Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Center, one of the finest in the country. But if one of the oncologists came up and said, hey, Kevin, I'm Dr. Nick. I love working here. My friend is the chief of staff, and he gave me this job. Kevin would rightfully say, no. Why doesn't anybody say, no, when an important position in our government puts someone into a very important position without the necessary bona fides.
So we will say that 2021 has shown us that things are different. We have a different cultural climate. The things that society is willing to tolerate and not tolerate is different. But you have a historic nepotism state, a historic cronyism state, and it's to some degree the answer to your question.
It's ingrained in our culture.
To the victor goes the spoils.
But you know, all of us...
Jeff Landry's going to be Jeff Landry. John Bell's going to be John Bell.
All of us that put up with this crap are a bunch of damn fools. I got to tell you that.
Right.
We're going to take a brief break. We'll be back to wrap it up in just a moment. Stick around on Exiles TV.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bugg Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Welcome back, Exiles TV. Glad to have you with us. Franz Borghardt joins Kevin and I talking about some weighty legal issues, and particularly the legal ramifications of all of these sexual harassment complaints that are descending on the Capitol right this very moment. The implications are far-ranging, but what is the process? And again, we're going to put LSU and Title IX aside because there is a process that's already started there. I thought it interesting that Tom Galligan, by the way, said that he does not want to be considered for the...
Okay, you found it interesting, but did you find it the least bit surprising that he said he did not want to be considered to be the permanent president?
Which only made me want him to be president more.
Which also made me wonder...
Because he doesn't want it.
Why?
Do you find that that's a secretive process? This process of selecting a university president?
It needs a little more daylight.
Some of it has to be secretive because you have to protect the integrity of candidates from other universities that you wish to talk to.
Who might get canned if they know you're applying for the job at
LSU? Exactly. Or that you're...
Who would actually do that? Come on.
Oh, it's happened.
So sometimes you get canned for applying for another job. sometimes you resign for sexual harassment allegations, but you may be able to get rehired.
Rehired, yeah, because
But yeah, but I mean, the implications are very wide, and I do think that poor Mr. Galligan feels that some of this Title IX stink is going to end up at the president's office and may overlap when the time he stepped in as interim.
So here's the thing. It's not about money for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Galligan, exceptionally brilliant attorney, has written literally the book on some things in law that is amazing. Admiralty, torts. So it's not about the money.
And he's in no danger of getting a job at the AG's office then, right?
Right. I mean, he could. He would be qualified to run the criminal division as much as this other guy is. My question is would you want that job? Would you want to be president of LSU right now?
I know somebody who wants it that would be perfect for the job.
Okay. To me, it's kind of like being a city councilman. Not that there's anything wrong with being a city councilman or councilwoman, but how many times do you want to get a call from somebody saying, hey, your sewer's backed up?
You know
what have you done for me lately? My sewer's not working. Fix it.
There are people who thrive on that.
Oh.
They really do. They feel that they're being of service. But anyway,
Are they called Karen?
and being back to...
And by Karen, I don't mean your lovely
I know.
wife.
You know, going back to the original thing with sexual harassment at these very, very high levels, what is left in the process for those who have felt victimized by these very high-ranking individuals? Obviously, the whistleblower protections are not adequate. So what's left in the process?
So they can sue civilly if timely.
Mm-hmm.
They have to make an EEOC claim. The EEOC evaluates, and then they can proceed from there. They can try to quietly resolve it. Because by the way, some victims don't want to be loud and out there. Some victims of these crimes are content just seeing positive change. So some of them are going to see the positive change or lack of it and respond accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are going to try to quietly resolve their civil matters, and some of them are going to hire Jill Kraft. And I'm not going to say it's crash cash. I'm not going to say it's standing on a 18-wheeler money, but they're going to get paid. And the question becomes, at what point does money cause the system to be fixed?
Well, there is a tangential question that I hear you saying, without using these words, a lot of these people would just like it to stop.
Right.
But how can you ever feel that you can trust somebody if it's the head man? How can those who appointed the head man, and if it's somebody that's an important executive, how can the head man of that agency ever trust them again to not reoffend if there aren't some serious personal sanctions involved in all this?
So I have never been sexually assaulted or harassed. So it is hard for me to wrap my brain around what it is to be a woman in a position of lack of power, harassed by someone who has power.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, that is a conversation and dialogue that I think needs to have people far more experienced than I to talk about that solution. Obviously, if the harasser is still in their position, it's going to be difficult to feel safe and comfortable. If the harasser, the alleged harasser, the harasser is no longer in that position, well then, maybe. You know, what kind of environment? Again, the other issue is when we talk about the state of Louisiana, when you sue the state of Louisiana, the harasser doesn't have to pay, right? So who feels the sting of the civil judgment?
You're playing with house money.
Right. So I'm not, and sadly, and again, I'm a criminal defense attorney. Sadly, the only thing we really get out of a civil suit is money. Now, sometimes money can affect behavior, right? Sometimes making someone pay can modify the way they do things, but sometimes it's just a payout.
Would you support a change in legislation in this state that says for certain internal offenses inside a state or local government agency, the offender is at least co-liable or maybe solely liable in court? In other words, if you didn't have to play with house money, if you were
solidarily liable,
if you were supervising the person that's playing grab ass, and you knew it and you didn't know anything about it, you don't get the luxury of saying, well, you know what, it's just going to be taxpayer money, and the harasser has to be where it might cost them a great big judgment.
So, in a tort reform conversation, no. In a conversation, if you're asking me if I trust this legislature to handle something of that nature, what I have observed about their Title IX witch hunt, which if you're a victim, you're loving it, right? If you're a victim of Title IX violations, you're applauding the legislature. Never mind the fact, where was the legislature when all this was happening? Oh, now they care.
Yeah.
And their response is, well, we made laws, they just weren't enforced. It is politically sexy right now for them to be doing the witch hunt they're doing. And I call it a witch hunt because it's a frenzy. And I've used this phrase with you guys before. It's rabble-rousing. It is good sound bites. So with this legislature, I don't trust it. Right now, in this time in our history, I don't trust this legislature to do it. It's the same way I felt when they made the hazing legislation, and I was like, y'all need to slow down. You're making decisions not off of rational decision-making.
It's reactionary and headline grabbing.
Right. That being said, should we have modifications of law? Absolutely. Should we have people more legally qualified than the legislature making recommendations? Absolutely. Because, by the way, we have entities that the legislature can use to make law. Now, whether or not they choose to listen to those entities or not, and we know that this legislature is not scared to make unconstitutional law. I just
certainly seen that a few times.
Yeah, like, or make stupid laws like bear baiting and theft of crawfish.
Well,
which is a law, by the way.
Stripper bill.
One of the dilemmas is that obviously these people are not getting a fair hearing. And obviously we have cases where the whistleblowers feel that they haven't been taken care of. We'll continue this discussion another time. Franz Borghardt, thank you so much for joining us. We have 30 seconds left in the program. Thanks to Katie for filling in for Marty. Marty's, peeing in a cup somewhere, taking his
great job. Thank you.
We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. Clarence Buggs will be coming your way in just a matter of about 5 or 6 minutes, and we'll see you live at noon with a live audience on Tuesday. Bye-bye.
God bless.